simply by their encouragement and their generosity of spirit made me feel seen and understood and less alone. Today we are looking at Isaiah chapter 11, verses 1 through 3. A shoot will grow up from the stump of Jesse, a branch will sprout from his roots. The Lord's Spirit will rest upon him, a spirit of wisdom and understanding, a spirit of planning and strength, a spirit of knowledge and fear of the Lord. He will delight in fearing the Lord. He won't judge by appearances, nor decide by hearsay. I had my sermon all ready to go. I had it recorded 2 days ago. Something felt off, something felt incomplete, and then I found out why the very next day. It's because I hadn't yet lived through the illustration that I wanted to offer, which was, I had some friends recommend an artist. They said, hey, you gotta check out this video called Hi Ren by an artist called Ren. Fair warning, this is not a Christian artist who makes music for a Sunday morning church audience. So he uses some very raw language and themes. But I was just incredibly impressed by his talent, and more importantly, I resonated deeply with his authenticity, his vulnerability, and his message, his appeal to some part of my humanity that made me feel seen and understood and less alone. And then I started talking to his fans of Ren, who call themselves the Renegades, fittingly. And they are the most incredible human beings I've ever met on the internet, full stop. That's right, the internet, the place of trolls and bots and the worst of humanity. I've spoken to hundreds of them. All of them have been kind and welcoming of me into their community. I'm just blown away by this group of people from all sorts of different backgrounds, different faith backgrounds, cultures, languages, living in different countries, different genders, ages, you name it. Incredible and diverse people who are kind, who simply by their encouragement and their generosity of spirit made me feel seen and understood and less alone. I can't help but think of Hagar from Genesis. If you remember, Abraham, his wife Sarah, had a maidservant, Hagar, and at best she was like a paid worker, but was more likely an indentured servant. This is someone, Hagar, who probably had little agency in her life. She probably didn't have much to say over this matter, but she did what she was asked. She functioned in this role, and only to be resented for it by Sarah, and the boy as well, Ishmael, was resented. And it's very sad, it's very tragic. I believe it's one of the areas of weakness that we see in Abraham, for sure, for allowing it all to happen the way it did. But Hagar, who had been treated poorly and neglected and cast aside, literally was sitting in the wilderness waiting to die when God showed up. And remarkably, she does something that is pretty unheard of in the Bible, is she names this God. She provides one of the names that we have for God, El Roi, God who sees, the God of the Bible, the God that I worship as a God who sees us for who we are in ways that others don't far too often. And here in our passage from Isaiah 11, the prophet is imagining the Messiah, whom Christians identify as Jesus. And of all the amazing things that are talked about and beyond the verses I read, the Messiah takes care of the needy and brings equity for those who suffer, ushers in this incredible time of peace where people are no longer harmed. As my professor, John Franke, said, the kingdom of heaven is where everyone has enough and no one needs to be afraid. Well, the person that Isaiah envisions as bringing about this time of peace and wholeness and goodness, this same Messiah is noted in verse 3 for not judging by appearance or deciding by hearsay. So many people in this world, they make assumptions about us. They embrace stereotypes, misconceptions, mischaracterizations of who we are. They don't give us the time of day because maybe we're on the other side of the political aisle, or maybe we look a certain way that they don't like, or speak with a certain accent that they don't like. And God is the alternative to that. Messiah is the alternative to that. Someone who is not afraid of the scary subject matter of our lives, the stories of our lives, someone who can look at us eyes wide open and give us a fair shake, understanding that we are human. We are not gods, but we are humans in need of love, in need of acceptance, in need of being accompanied, seen, understood, and made to feel less alone. Now, we have the opportunity to do a very godly thing, even as humans, which is to look at one another with kindness and generosity, extending the benefit of the doubt, offering one another an opportunity to have mutual empathy, to help each other be seen and understood and feel less alone. I feel like I've been given a gift this week of so many people extending that to me. And I tell you, it's life-giving. It fills me with the energy that I need to continue doing the same for others. So that's my prayer and our hope for us this week, is that we would join God in being present with people, fully showing up, bringing our whole selves, our authentic humanity to the table, allowing ourselves to be seen and seeing others, allowing ourselves to be understood and understanding others, and helping one another feel a little less alone.